Nigeria's infrastructure space is set to get a major boost as the federal government plans to unveil an infrastructure master plan in August this year, expected to go up 2.9 trillion naira over a 30-year period. However, economists have raised concerns about this latest document, which they say may be quite similar to others released in the past that were also intended to provide a clear roadmap for infrastructure development in Nigeria. We're joining me now for a look at this blueprint and outlook for the infrastructure space in Nigeria going forward is Mr. Patterson Ekocha. He's a fellow at the African Institute of Applied Economics. Thank you, Mr. Ekocha, for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, a number of concerns have been raised. Key among them is the fact that we might be looking at a similar document released concerning Nigeria's infrastructure space, notably the Vision 2020. We have something similar in the Sovereign Wealth Fund. For you, what's your biggest concern?
Just as you rightly pointed out, most of us seem to look at it as another document because we have what I may call the founding document, which is the Vision 2020, and then the National Implementation Plan, as well as other accompanying documents like the Transformation Agenda and all that. All these documents spell out the issue of infrastructural gap, as well as strategies of trying to, bridge the gap, and implementation strategies and financing strategies as well. Okay, because I read the document, and the document said, well, it's going to cost the federal government 2.9 trillion. So my question is, this 2.9 trillion, is it carved out of the 32 trillion as, enshrined in the Vision 2020, required to breach the infrastructural gap? We do not know. So there are equally other concerns. Maybe in the course of the program, we now can iron that out.
Now, one key feature of this latest document is an increased participation of the private sector. The federal government is hoping that the private sector could come in heavily, unlike previous documents, to help drive this new strategy. Don't you think that perhaps that is more, in terms of a better focus this time around?
Well, that might not be holistically true, because even in the Vision 2020, in the first National Implementation Plan, as was even presented by the Minister for National Planning on the 5th of August, you see the financing sources, which include the federal, state, local government, private sector. And in fact, in that particular document, private sector has 13 trillion, while the FGN will contribute 10 trillion, then states and local government will contribute 9, summing it up to 10 trillion. It's really the right step in the right direction, but then we are asking, where does it derive its powers? Is it an offshoot or extension of the Vision 2020, or, just because of the name integrated, or is it another document? There is need for congruency, harmonization of all these documents so that we really know where we're heading to.
And let's talk about funding for this project. 2.9 trillion naira is no small money, even though it's going to be over a 30-year period. Of course, the private sector is involved in this one, and the federal government did say that it's hoping to market this a new framework as a National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan to foreign investors, because, of course, they believe that the Nigerian infrastructure space inherently has so much potential, especially for foreign direct investment. Are those your thoughts too?
Hello, sorry.
Well, the federal government says that it's going to market the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, that's this new blueprint for infrastructure development. It's going to market it to international investors to come invest also, while we also have the private sector on the other hand. For you, do you think this is the way to go?
Yeah, this has been said. Equally in the Vision 2020, of course, it has medium-term implementation plans, about 3 of them. Okay, this was equally emphasized in that highly powered document, about the sources of funding. It equally includes not only development partners, as well as international financial institutions. So I really do not know. My worry is, are we, inventing the wheel, or, trying to bring up another new document because we're good at it, and not really being particular in at the implementation stage, and then being disciplined in implementing properly the way it should be. Because all these things were equally enshrined in that Vision 2020. So my worry, because I'm basically, I was privileged to look at the document presented by the Minister for National Planning on the 5th of August 2010. And in that particular document he presented that was in Lagos, sources of funding the investment, of course, which principally was identified as infrastructural gap, they were federal government, state and local government, issuance of FGN bonds, deposit money banks, development partners, private sector, international financial institutions. So, well, maybe much as I applaud that, there is need to tell us what is new. You know, what is to be added? Is it maybe that there's now going to be massive drives selling that and all that? Why don't you equally sell the main plan that you have? You know, so that's why some of us are asking, is this a new document or is this complementing the Vision 2020 as well as the transformation agenda? You know, these are the issues.